Hey, great people. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, um, good day, wherever you are, whatever the time is at your location. It's another Sunday, and welcome to Marriage O'Clock on DY Relationship Clinic.
Yes, it's Marriage O'Clock again this Sunday. How was the service today? How was the meetings? Every meeting you had today, how did it go? Whether in the church or in the mosque?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and whether it's family meeting, at least you guys came together at some point today. How did it go?
I'm Yemi Adenuga.
And I am Deji Adenuga.
And it's great to be back with you. Last week we did mention we'll be talking about it's okay, darling. We'll be talking about a topic that generally is the basis for most of the things that bind us together, either as husband and wife, or as friends, or as family, whatever it is that we are together. When you're with somebody else, there's one concept that binds two people together. So today we're talking about that particular concept, and that is the concept of love.
Yes.
So today we're asking the question, what is love? What's love?
What's your own understanding of love? What do you understand by love? What do you think is love? How do you understand love? How do you show it? What do you mean when you say, I love you, or I'm in love with you, or I'm showing love to you? What do you understand by love?
I'm in love with you. That's that's a totally different kettle of fish, you know.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that today extensively. We have the time today, and don't forget, we invite you to join us, and you can call your friends and share this with your friends as we go along. And we want you to bring in your comments, bring in your contributions, and ask questions as we go along.
Absolutely. Share. Please share this. If you want somebody to be a part of this, or to benefit from this, or to make a contribution as well, go ahead and share. When we were in secondary school, or when I was in secondary school, we always talked about love, and then we used to wonder, all these guys that are talking love to us, and they tell you I love you. When the minute they see you, the first thing they say to you is I love you.
I love you.
And I actually used to wonder then, you don't know me, how can you love me? Even though I at the time I didn't really understand the concept of love. I was so young and naive. I didn't know much about love, but everyone had the belief that it was that feeling you had inside you, that fluffy feeling. We used to say something, and if you remember it, right? If back in your school days, you also used to say that, just give me a yes, I remember, right? We used to say, love is a feeling you feel when you feel you're feeling the feeling that you feel that you've never felt before. I can never forget that. That's one thing I can never, ever forget. And as I grew and got to understand love, I realized that love is not a feeling at all. Love itself, it's not a feeling. Love is something totally different from a feeling. It is action. Wow.
Yeah. Right? Love goes beyond feeling. On this program today, I'm going to give you my own understanding of love, but I want you to keep sending in your own understanding. What do you think love is? How do you understand love? I have seen that love is selfless. Love is not proud. Love doesn't envy. When you love someone, you should be able to tolerate his or her shortcoming. That is Laide Fadimo, and this is Nifemi Bolo Adru Mohammed. Love, I said I love you, but couple. Thank you.
We love you too.
We love you too. So we want you to send in your comments about your understanding of love. We want you to tell us what do you think love is? How do you understand love? But most definitely, let me tell you, as we are starting this program, let me tell you, love is definitely not a feeling. The love we're talking about here, the love that binds two people together, the love that makes you come into marriage, the love that can sustain your marriage, the love that can keep you going in life, in any relationship, is definitely not the feeling. Because, yeah, go on.
Quick question, Val. A lot of people, like a lot of the people who would come to us at DY Relationship Clinic, would talk about love as a feeling, and then each time we said love wasn't a feeling, they would come like, how do you mean love isn't a feeling? You have to feel something to say that you're in love. So if love isn't a feeling, then first of all, two questions. and I'm sure people are wondering, how can you say love is not a feeling? So 2 questions, and I'm sure these 2 questions are in your mind as well. What is that feeling? And then second of all, why is love not a feeling?
Okay, thank you very much. I said the love we're talking about here. Well, you remember I did not say that love is not a feeling, because love is also an emotion. An emotion is feeling, it's what you feel. But I said that the love that binds you together, the love that keeps your marriage going, the love that makes the 2 of you to decide to get married to each other, the love that will see you through marriage, through the thick and thin of marriage, is not a feeling. Yeah, but there is feeling of love. Yes. For example, you can say, I'm in love with you.
So I suppose what we're saying is that love is not just a feeling. It's not just that feeling you're feeling.
It goes beyond
that feeling. That feeling is aided by true love. That feeling that you begin to feel, if it's genuine, it's aided by the true love that comes. So if you believe that love is a feeling, then you've got it wrong. It's not a feeling. The feeling comes when the true love comes. And can I say something here, Val? Anybody can have a feeling about anybody. When men, I beg to say here, when men see beautiful women, when a man sees a beautiful woman, he suddenly gets a feeling. He feels all jiltery and boyish, and he's excited, and he just wants to go with her. That's a feeling. So is that love? Is that the kind of love we're talking about? When 2 people begin to like each other and they're talking and they see that they're fond of each other, then one of the 2, either the man or the woman, wants to sleep with the other. So that feeling of wanting to sleep with the other, is that love? And that's what we're saying, that love is not a feeling. It's not that feeling you're feeling when it's coming from here, or when it's coming from, the butterfly feeling you want to sleep with a person.
Yes, in this on this show today, I'm going to give you a little sneak into what is coming out at the end of this year. Our book that is coming at the end of this year that we're going to launch. I'm going to be reading some lines for you from the book. Okay, this is the part that has to do with love, the kind of love we're talking about here. You see, like I said before, I said love goes beyond feeling. You can have feeling for someone who does not even notice you. Have you had crush on someone before? Do you understand? In those days, even today,
I've had crush on someone before. Can I tell you guys, right? I'll tell you guys a little secret. Way back, I'm sorry to cut you there, but this is exciting from what you're reading. And we did say that we will share with people from us, right? Way back when I first met Val, right? I had a crush on his friend. Would you believe that? I had a crush on his friend. Now that's what we're saying. It was a crush. I didn't know the guy. I just liked the way he looked. I was young, I was naive, and I thought, oh, this is a great guy. He sings so well. I like his voice. We went church together in choir. He sings so well. And I'll tell you something really funny. Later on, when I got to know him, I was like, oh my God, did I really have a crush on this guy? Did I seriously have a crush on this guy?
Yeah.
So if I thought I loved this guy at the time, and if I'd gone a bit further, or if he had come to me
at that point,
if he had come to me, and I thought I loved this guy because I thought he looked really good, and I allowed him to sleep with me, I would have been fooling myself, because I would have thought I was in love with him, which was totally stupid. It would have been stupid of me, because I realized later that I would never touch him with a barge pole.
Yeah, you see, that's what I'm talking about. Crush. That's part of the feeling we're going to be discussing here. Feeling comes, feeling goes. Crush fades. As it comes, it can just fade away.
Crush fades.
Yeah, you were saying a guy will see a lady and say, oh, this is beautiful. I just love her. And he wants to go for her. Also, a woman can see a man and say, oh my God, look at that car. Oh, look at that physique. Oh, look at that eyeballs. Oh, look at his loaded and so on. And before you know it, you are feeling something from him. That is not love. Okay? That is not the kind of love that can sustain or that can keep you in marriage. That's not the kind of love that can make you decide that I want to marry this person. And that is what we want to talk about today. You see, I said again, emotions come into play in our marriage. We get feelings and react to them as they come. These are feelings, okay? And I'm going to differentiate between the feeling of love and love itself. You know, feeling of love can make you even fall sick. Feeling of falling in love with somebody can make you sick, and we begin to think, oh, if I'm in love with somebody to the point of sickness that I want to see this person all the time, then you are telling me I don't love that person? Excuse me, you don't love that person. It may be that you don't love that person. It is possible at the end of the day that you genuinely love the person, but let me tell you, if feeling makes you become destructive to the point that, oh, my health is deteriorating because of what I feel for somebody.
Like the Bible story.
Like the Bible story. So be careful. Now, falling in love with somebody is different from loving somebody. Falling in love comes from the point of emotion. You see, and it's from what you see. Okay? You see a beautiful lady, you see the features of the lady. Oh, you say, oh God, that babe. I mean, and you begin to see her in your dreams, you begin to see her every minute, and you see you cannot resist her. Then you go to talk to her and you say, hey, I'm in love with you. You see that word?
I'm in love with you. The phrase, right? I'm in love with you. Okay.
Yes, the phrase. Be very careful. Be very careful, because if you give yourself time, that feeling might just go out before you know, if you give yourself time. But if you don't give yourself time, you can do anything
with the feeling.
You can go to any length to have that lady, and you will discover that after a while, things will begin to show and things will begin to happen, and you just don't feel anything for that lady again. It might take 2 years, it might take 2 months, it might take 6 months. And that is why I'm saying that the kind of feeling that will make you go on into that action is not enough to sustain marriage. It's not enough to make you decide that that is the person I want to marry.
Okay, let me help understand exactly what you're saying here. That when you have that feeling inside you and you say, I am in love with you, it still doesn't mean that you love the person yet. Now, you could love the person.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yeah.
But the fact that you've told the person that you are in love with the person is still not a proof that you love the person. Being in love with the person is still a feeling.
It's still a feeling. It's still a reaction to your emotion.
To your emotions.
The feeling of love is same in status as the feeling of hate. You see, the feeling of love, the same way you can love somebody, you can feel love for somebody, the same way you can feel hate for somebody. So they are same in status. Now listen, love is too deep. That's the kind of love we want to talk about this afternoon, this evening. Love is too deep, wide, and huge to be defined in a single sentence, or to be understood, or to be measured with words. I can only share my own perception, hoping that when we bring that side by side with what you know or what you think, it might help us to appreciate the whole concept of love. So I'm going to share my own concept of love, my own idea of love. Okay, I'm still going to read this line. You'll find that book interesting when we finally launch it. Let me read this line for you. I read Road Less Traveled by Dr. Scott Peck. I was glad to have someone explain love, not necessarily from the point of view of a clergy, but as a clinical psychologist who understands so well the spirituality of man, bringing the spiritual end and the whole essence of love out clearly. Now, let's look at how Dr. Speck described love. Even though that's not the finality of it, but I find it very fascinating and very deep, and I'm going to share with you. Dr. Scott said, the will to extend one's self for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth. Do you want me to take that again?
Go ahead. The will
to extend yourself.
Extend oneself.
For the purpose of nurturing yourself or another person's spiritual growth.
Absolutely. And that's so powerful.
Now let me explain it to you in my own language. The substance in you to want to extend yourself to want to develop yourself, to be able to nurture your spiritual growth and somebody else's spiritual growth. So what are we saying here in essence is that love is the substance that makes you want to grow and help somebody grow. Now, there's a lot in that.
Absolutely.
There is so much in that.
I think what the way I usually explain it, which is exactly connected to what you say. You just said is when you love somebody, when you meet and get to know and you love somebody, that concept of love is you basically saying, how can I make this person better?
Exactly.
What can I do each day, each morning when I wake up, and as each day passes by, what can I contribute to this person's life to make them better than how I met them?
And when you are thinking like that, then you must be thinking of how to make yourself better.
Exactly.
Because you are not better.
You can't
help anybody to be better.
Totally true.
So both of you will be growing together.
So can I just say here that if you say you love somebody, if you're listening to this and you're going to hear this later on, or if you know somebody who needs to hear this, if you say you love somebody and you're not thinking of how to make them better, perhaps not you making them better, you're not trying to change them, but you're not thinking of how you can contribute to their life to help them become better, you don't love them.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
So what I'm saying,
you don't love them.
What I'm saying in essence is love is not emotional, it is volitional. You see, Yalaji Omotoche says love is interpersonal affection or an emotion of a strong attraction or personal affection. It is. He said, Joe, I can't even say. Now, I want to distinguish between love, the love that we're talking about here, the love that's volitional. I want to distinguish that love from that affection or strong attraction or emotion,
the feeling, the
or
emotion.
personal affection.
Yes.
You see, personal affection, you can have that strong feeling for somebody and still not love the person. You can have that strong attraction. For example, I'm going to use my experience, what I really, really know about. I know a little about Bible. And I'm going to come to Bible now. There's somebody in the Bible that so much loved a lady. He loved the lady to the point that he was falling sick. He was really sick, and his friend noticed it. And let me ask you, who was he in love with? His sister. Strong
Lord
feeling,
have mercy.
Strong affection. That he said his health started deteriorating. His health started failing. Can you beat that? Now, if you are saying love is interpersonal affection or an emotion or a strong attraction, see what happened after he slept after he slept with that lady. The Bible stated that he hated her 10 times more than he loved her. Now, tell me that. Tell me that again. That love is strong emotion, strong affection. Then you'll be looking for some trouble because that strong affection, as strong as it comes, it can
go. The minute you probably get what you want, because the attraction is to something. There's an attraction to something.
Yes.
So the minute you get what you want, then it could go.
Yeah.
But if you're not thinking, and it comes back to what we're saying here, if your thought is not to better that person,
and better
yourself,
be able to better
that person. You see something, you see a potential in that person. Oh, this lady is so smart, this lady is so beautiful, this lady is so hardworking. I would love to spend the rest of my life with her, or I would love to have her as my wife, or whatever. Right? And at the back of your mind, you're not also thinking, I would really love to see her develop her skills as a trader or as a secretary or as an accountant, whatever skills that person has. You don't want to contribute. You're not thinking of how you can contribute, but rather you're saying, come on, I mean, all the skills, what are you going to do with them? You know, you're wasting time doing this. You don't love that person.
And that's why I wrote in that book that is coming that love is volitional, not emotional. It is far from being a feeling. It's an action. Bringing this into marriage, we all have the will in us to extend ourselves with the aim to nurture ourselves and the other person that we are in marriage with, to attain a certain level of growth. You see, the will in you to extend yourself, to nurture. Note that the will inside you to extend yourself, to grow yourself, to expand yourself, okay, to nurture your growth that and the other person's growth. So when husband and wife, when they do that across board, you see, you know what will happen? Each of them will be developing. So love is not emotional, it's volitional. Love is not just what you say, it's what you do. It's action.
Simply put, love is action. Love is action. Love is not that fluffy feeling. Last week I was saying that I spoke with a young man who was looking for love. He was saying, I'm still searching for that love. And yet, I believe that love is right in front of him, but he can't see it. He's looking for a feeling. And yet in front of him is a lady who has done everything to show that she loves him through her action. But he is missing that, and he's still looking for a feeling. And I understand that in order to be with somebody, you have to have some kind of attraction to the person. But it's all in here. It's all in here. Everything we talk about in attraction, it's here. It's here.
And
it's here.
Imagine the kind of things that lady was doing for him. All the sacrifices the lady was making. If only in his head he could just find it possible to reciprocate that.
Absolutely.
Love will flow. You see, that is why I will say, I will react to what I read here. Lara Babarinde, he says that, I think you are talking about love between husband and wife, but is there any true undiluted love anymore? Let's be realistic. I would say yes.
Yes, there is.
There is.
Yes, there totally is.
If love is diluted, it is you, man, it is you, woman.
We're human, right? Let's look at it this way, right? Lara, let's look at it this way. We're talking about the concept of love between two different human beings who come from different backgrounds, right? So if one is not committing, if one is not following that action concept to do, it's not a goat that is not doing it. It's not a cow that is not doing it. It is a human that is not doing it. So to your question, is there still true love? There is. And I'll tell you why we don't see that anymore. Because people don't believe that it exists. Those who have it and want to give it are now wondering, who's going to believe this is real when I give it? Because we have so twisted the concept of love, true love, agape love. We have twisted agape love to now be feelings. If I don't feel anything for you,
then or
if somebody is not telling you that they love you, then there's nothing there. It's great to hear that you are loved. I used to say to her, when we first started courting, Val wasn't the kind of person that would say, I love you. You remember way back then? Now he tells me all the time. But way back then, and it wasn't like he wasn't that kind of person, but that came from a place of hurt. That came from a place of deep, things that had happened in the past to him. But as time grew and he got to understand love and he got to understand who I was, I didn't have to ask him to tell me he loved me. He showed me all the time. I also didn't, this was some 30 years ago, I also didn't totally understand the concept of love. So I felt he had to say it to me. He had to say it to me. So it was difficult for me to even see the things he was doing because he wasn't saying them. But now I totally know, and I've known this a few years back as well, that what he does speaks volume beyond what he says. These days, people are looking for what is said. Women are moved by what they hear. Men are moved by what they see. So everybody thinks then that if a man tells me he loves me plenty times, he repeats it over and over again, that means he loves me. No, you have it twisted. It is when it is shown to you, not by buying you stuff, right? Not by how many clothes he's shopped for you, not by how many places he travels with you too, that could be it, part of it, but that's not just it.
Yes.
It is by him helping you become a better you. Those other things will follow. It's like seeking the kingdom of God first, you know. Every other thing will follow. All those purchases, all those buying of stuff, they will happen. Anybody can buy you anything, but not everybody can love you.
Lara Mari, they said, these days I've observed most men, African men, not being real and faithful in their relationship. Number one, when you say men, it also happens to women.
Mm-hmm.
When you say African, it's all over the world. It is not only African men.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, let me attend to that generally, because that's actually the next thing I was going to talk about. You say we are not faithful. Now, I was going to say love must be reciprocated. It could be the love of one spouse that will ignite the love in the other spouse, and the love will be go traveling across,
back and forth.
You see, this issue of being faithful, it is a problem all over the world. It is not an African man problem. It is not an African woman problem. It is not men's problem. Women who are unfaithful. When we don't understand the concept of love, as I sit down myself here talking to you, and you know we have talked about this before, that we share our experience. We talk from our experience. Don't think that the person that is talking to you here has forever been faithful. But I tell you today, if you say who is faithful in his marriage, I try to be one. But that does not mean that in the past I have always been faithful. But what we are saying is, if you have love in you, you are helping yourself to grow, so that you can be able to help the other person to grow. My wife has helped me to grow a lot, as much as I've also helped her to grow. Now, being faithful today has come from the help I got from my own wife. And I've also been able to help her grow, and that has helped our marriage, our love to grow in this marriage. And it has helped the marriage to keep getting better and better. Now, in those days and this is where love comes in those days when I was unfaithful, it was not that she didn't know, but she has love in her that helped her to continue to keep that nurturing, to keep that nurturing. She didn't make me feel like a trash. Instead, I was the one who was feeling guilty in myself, that if a woman is like this, if I have a wife like this, and I keep doing all this, how will that help even me myself? And a lot of things go into that. Being faithful does not just come like that for a woman, for a man. For example, if a woman is constantly unfaithful, don't expect that the man will forever be faithful. If a man is constantly unfaithful, something will happen that will snap something in that woman. You understand? So don't think that somebody being faithful is just an automatic thing. It is a stage that we all get into, and we need to develop, we need to grow to be able to get to that stage. And that's why we need to understand the concept of love. The concept of love, when you begin to think that, how can I be doing this to somebody that I love? How can I keep hurting somebody that I love,
that I profess to love?
That's when love is actually working. But you can keep love to the you can relegate love to the background and just you continue with your own bad action. But the simple truth is either you don't understand what love is, or you don't love that person.
Very true. Very, very true. So, what are we saying today? Every person has the potential to love. And every person has the potential to be loved. So, in order for you to know that you truly love a person, it's simple. You must show it. Not by saying it alone. Saying it is good. The person wants to hear it. The saying it is the reassurance for the person. But that's not what says that you love the person. The fact that you're saying it is not what says that you love the person, or that proves that you love the person. What proves that you love the person is what you do. If your wife wants to be a better person by going to college, and I've heard this, and Joanna mentioned this somewhere earlier on and said, how can a man say that he loves his wife and he tells her to stay in the kitchen and cook the food just all day long, and that's all she does? She cannot go to college. She cannot develop herself, especially for people who are in diaspora. They have a bit of that challenge, right? So
I'm going to talk about that at some point. Go on.
So if you cannot sit, and I'm speaking to the men here who are listening, if you cannot sit with your wife and have a discussion about how you can help her to achieve that goal of being a better person through education, maybe you have to agree about how much of the family fund goes towards funding that education. If all you're saying is, your mates have gone to school years ago, now you want to go to school, when your mates are already mothers at home or your mates are grandmothers, that's not love. You're not showing that person that you love them. And no matter how many designers you buy for them, you do not love them. It's as simple as ABC. Love is action. Love is action. It's not just, and I'm not talking about the kind of action where you just go and buy stuff. That's bribery and corruption. Let me bring this home, Val. So if you cannot sit and agree together about how you can make the person better, you are not showing that love. You may love them and not know how, but today you're hearing how you should show it. It's by actually taking action, taking a step. Val and I, a couple of years ago, when we started to understand a lot about love and a lot about how to make our marriage better, we made this decision that my life is dedicated to making your life better. And your life is dedicated to making my life better. And in making me better, and I'm making you better, we are both going to be great people. We're going to be better. So imagine that. So if I wake up thinking, what can I do to make Val happier today? You know, what can perhaps it's just even a simple glass of water that he needs in the morning. And I don't want him to get up and walk from the bed and go and get it. I get him that jug of water. That alone might make him happy. It's not when I go and buy one big stuff. No, it's the actions, the little things that I know he likes, the little things that I know he loves, and I do them for him. As it's my own way of saying I love you, right? Those little action things to show that I care and that I want him to be better. Those are the things we're talking about. If you're not doing them, if all you're doing is putting down, casting down.
And see, that will bring me to talk about one of the confusions of that we always have in our heads regarding love. We cannot sometimes differentiate between love and selfishness. You know, when you say you love your wife and all you are doing is for yourself. For example, that man that would say that his wife should sit down in the kitchen and be cooking. No, I love her. I love her so much. That's selfishness.
Absolutely.
For example, if you love your daughter, I'll give you an example. A man who really loves his daughter came to me sometime and said, look, my daughter is 16 and she wants to go to
to study.
When there are schools around here, how can I allow a 16-year-old? I asked him a question. Are you thinking of that girl or of yourself? He said, you look, I'm the parent, you know, I cannot allow her to just go out like that. Do you want her to grow? Let her. If you want her to grow, let her grow. Don't think for her. You are thinking for her at 16. There are stages when we can think for our children, but even in thinking for our children, we have to be sure that it is for their own sake. So also for your wife, you cannot be thinking, oh, my wife, a wife that you marry, that you say you love, and you want her to do only what you want her to do. You don't love her. That is selfishness.
That's just the simple truth. You do not love her.
Let me quickly, or you don't understand what love means at that point.
Oh, yeah. Perhaps you love, but you're not showing it the right way. That's another thing.
You say thanks a lot for this. But remember, once bitten, twice shy. It will take time for a wife whose husband has been a liar to trust and love. Yeah, you see, I'm going to talk about trust someday. But let me tell you, as we're talking about love here, if you truly love, you can help somebody who's been a liar to get better and not be a liar again. I always say this. One of the reasons why people lie is because people cannot stand the truth.
Especially in relationship.
You know, that time when we're talking about communication, I said something. I said the the third thing I mentioned in problems of communication is, there's a way I put it. You see, people are afraid to speak the truth because the people that are speaking the truth to are not ready to hear the truth. So that's why somebody will lie to you. Right? And
they tell you what you want to hear.
Tell you what you want to hear. So, and if somebody begins to tell you the truth, then the chances for the person to get better is there. I mean, the chance for the person is there already. The person will really get better quickly if the person is able to tell you the truth.
So what you're saying in essence is, for those who feel that they cannot tell the truth in a relationship because of what the consequences might be,
yes,
if we leave the room for them to tell us the truth, regardless of the reaction, regardless of what happened, then they will feel like they can tell you. I'll give an example. My first son, Faith Deji, and my other son, Kefa, right? I have two boys, right? So I say to the boys, and I've said this to the girls are way older. I've said this to the girls, they're older now, they understand it better. You know, this is what they do with their life now. They tell the truth all the time. The boys, were trying to get them to understand it, and they've started grasping this, that no matter what happens, tell us, tell mommy and daddy the truth, because I can't defend you if I don't know what you've really done.
Yeah.
So the only way I can defend you, be it in school, be it with your friends, is when you tell me the truth. And we tell them, I will be upset. Daddy will be upset with what you've done. And don't think you won't be punished. You could get punished. But if we know the truth, then we can defend you.
Don't forget, the truth is bitter.
Yes.
And somebody wants to tell you something that is bitter. You will feel it in you. You will be mad. You won't like it. But leave room for it. And when somebody says that, oh, I can tell the truth, he'll come forward and tell you the truth. And once you know the truth, and the person knows that you know the truth, he will not go back into that thing again. The chances of him going back, or the chances of her going back to that thing, it
gets slimmer.
Yeah, it gets slimmer.
If he was doing this, if he or she was doing it 20 times before, it starts to reduce gradually.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is something that has become a habit, you may not expect that it suddenly stops, but it begins to reduce. And the only way it can reduce is when you are helping that person to get better, and it's reducing.
Yes, and you can only help that person get better if you are trying to get better yourself. You know, you that cannot stand the truth, you are trying now to open space within you to be able to allow the truth to come in. Don't forget, I said the truth. I mean, truth is bitter. It hurts. But do you want the truth, or you want him to continue to tell lies? The love in you. You see, Prince Vitola Adeshegun says, love supersedes all.
Yeah.
If you really, really have love in you, you then be able to open some space in yourself to be able to take in the truth. You will understand that, okay, to err is human, and to forgive is divine. So you'll be able to open that, and you will find out that if you can stand the truth, and he or she can come back to you to say, okay, I actually did it, chances are that they will not do that thing again. Because they know that, look, this person already knows. So there's no point hurting this person continually. So that is what we need in love. And that's why we need to talk about this love. It is not just the love, the feeling. Just the feeling. No. It's not if it is the feeling, then look at the same way you can express one horrible feeling. Your husband does something, or your wife does something, and you just slap him or her. Or you just talk anyhow because, oh, it's the way I'm feeling. You know, if you bring love to that level, then you are murdering love.
Absolutely.
You are killing love.
Can I tell you one of the great things? Like, I love the Bible so much. We're not religious here, right? And we've made this clear all the time. We just speak things as we have learned from how God has helped us, right? So we're not pastors or preachers, but we just share the love that God has helped us. And the truth is, we're Christians, and we share what we have through God. So the idea is for it to help you get better, since it's helped us get better, to help you get better.
Yeah.
Now, we cannot remove from this, one of the things that has helped our marriage, really, I'll be honest with you, is Christ being at the center. Yeah. Is Jesus being at the center.
Because God himself is love.
Because God himself is for us. This is it. God himself is love. God has been at the center of a marriage. It's helped us get better.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things I love so much about love from the Bible is what 1 Corinthians. If you're a Christian, you know what that is. If you're not a Christian, perhaps you just want to read that to understand what we're talking about here. That the Bible even says that love is action. It's not just what you say. And it says this in 1 Corinthians 13:4. It's 4-7. And it says that love is patient. Patient is an action. It's not something you say. In order for you to be patient, you're taking action. It is the action itself to be patient. Love is kind. Kindness is an action. It does not envy. So if I sit here and I envy Val, right? He's a fantastic A-list actor. He's a now you're feeling cool. He's what you would call, he's known to all and sundry. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say sundry.
Sundry, all.
Okay, he's known to
Not
all.
even all.
Right. Yeah, he's well known. He's widely known. Right.
He's showing off.
Yes, I am showing off. So, but you get what I'm talking about, right? And then if I start to envy him for this, I do not love him. It's as simple as that.
And do you know, really, husbands envy their wives. Wives also envy
their husbands because they're doing so great. All I should be doing is I should remember this man is mine, and what is his is mine. If he's doing great, that's me. It's rubbing off on me. I would proudly walk hand in hand with him and show off that this is, well, not really show off, but be proud to walk beside. Yes, be proud to walk beside him who is a successful actor. That's the concept of love. And every time anything comes up that wants to dampen his spirit with regards to his career, if I love him, I will help him build. I will help him feel better about that. And I will not envy his success. That is love. So I'm still saying to you that love is action. So love does not envy. Does not.
Don't go away from that. Does not envy. You have talked about your husband being an A-list actor. You have forgotten who. To talk about who you are, but I'll say it. And there's a reason why I want to say it. You did not just become a big broadcaster. You did not just become an amazing broadcaster overnight. Okay. Now, the first time I heard your voice, I was like, oh my God, beautiful voice. But I didn't know what to do with that beautiful voice. But one friend of mine, long time ago, a copper who came to a school I was teaching then.
Okay.
I've actually forgotten his name now.
That was forever ago.
Yeah.
When
1980. We were still coming to Adenuga when I was in Adenuga.
Oh my God, that was 1983, 84. Yeah. Wow.
So, okay, that was not. It was. Okay, so what I'm saying is, what I want to say is, they introduced her to the copper friend.
Yes.
And you said, oh, hello. You said, oh my God, that is Voice of America.
Yes.
And I just took that in. Okay, and I was a common teacher. I'm talking about love enabling you to nurture and develop your spouse. Just as you cannot do that without developing yourself first. I thank God that I was able to think, okay, Voice of America. And when the time came, the opportunity came, I said, oh my God, there's this thing happening. An audition happening. This was 1989. So I was on audition. You have to go for that audition. And it was like, oh, what do I do? And this is a common teacher.
Yes.
A common teacher saying, oh, my wife must be a broadcaster. And I remember what people told me then.
Oh my goodness, you lose this lady.
This lady is going to be so big. And I thank God she was so big that even by the time we were getting married in 1992, the whole crew of OGBC radio, OGBC television, they came to our wedding just because she was a broadcaster in OGBC. Now, this is the point I'm trying to drive home. A common teacher.
Stop saying common teacher.
A local teacher. A local fantastic. Even as at that time I was a local primary school teacher. I've stopped teaching in the secondary school. I've gone back to the university. Coming back now, I was a local primary school teacher, married to an ace broadcaster. And I could just then have been thinking, oh, this lady, all these people came just because of her. Maybe she's dating the GM of this thing. Maybe she's girlfriend.
She's dating Ebenezer Obio.
You know, and people begin to form things in their head. Husbands, if you truly love your wife, let them grow. Let them grow wings and fly. I've heard phrases like, oh, he has grown wings. She has developed wings. She has started. Let her grow wings and fly. She will fly back to you. Especially
for you.
Especially if she remembers that, oh, all these wings, you put them there. You help her to grow these wings. You don't need to clip the wings so that she cannot fly again. Love does not envy. Love should support. Thank you. Go on.
Absolutely. I think one of the fears of a lot of men, if I get to say this, is that they believe that once women have that power, they would use it, they will misuse it, they will use it wrongly. Some women, I was just going to say that. That's not to say that some women and men, and I mean, it cuts both ways. Doesn't mean that people don't misuse power. But if from the beginning you both understand where you're going together, and we will still always go back to what we said about communication. If you communicate always and talk about things together, your goal is the same. You're going in the same direction. And there would be hiccups along the way. You work it out as you go. Work it out as you go. So love then does not envy. Love does not boast. You do not boast against the other person. I'm better than you. Who do you think you are? I picked you up from the gutter. Oh my God. I have heard that so many, excuse my French. I've heard that so many times amongst couples. You know, the husband saying to the wife, if I did not pick you from that poor family and I did not send you to school, you will be nobody. Or the wife is saying, remember where you were when I picked you up and I helped you become who you are today and all of that. Sometimes, you know, people say that out of bitterness for what the other person's done. So you do not want to put yourself in a position where your partner is coming at you and saying, here, this is what you've cost me to do. So love does not boast. Love does not, it's not proud. You don't show pride. Love to your spouse. It does not dishonor others. So you don't dishonor. And dishonor, part of dishonoring your marriage is by cheating on your spouse. You dishonor that's the sanctity of your marriage. It is not self-seeking. So don't be selfish. If you're always thinking about yourself first in things that have to do with the entire marriage, it has no true name. It's selfishness. You are selfish. So check yourself before you wreck yourself. And it's not easily angered. It doesn't say it's not angered. It's not. But it's not easily angered, and it keeps no records of wrong. This is where I would really love to. It keeps no record of wrong. If things have gone wrong in the past, you don't keep referring, that's what you did 2 years ago. That's what you did 10 years ago. 5 years ago, this is where we were at.
Once you sort out a problem, once you sit down and you sort out the problem, it's sorted. If anything happens again, don't refer to that one that has been sorted. And that does not give you any liberty to continue to repeat the action that was wrong.
Absolutely.
And that you have talked about. You don't go about again doing them, repeating them.
So I'll just quickly run through the rest of it. It's not easily angered. It does not keep record of wrongs. So when something has gone wrong, you don't keep it. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. Tell the truth.
I'll let us leave people to read them first. Chapter 13.
One last one.
Yeah.
It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves. All these are action words. Action words.
So we're talking about practicing love.
Practice love. It's action.
I'm going to quickly read again. When this book is out, I hope you will get your own copy. I'm going to quickly read now. If you truly love your spouse, it is not enough to say it, but you need to show it. This is practicing love. As I said earlier on, love is an action, and as such, it requires effort. The primary assignment love wants to carry out is developing individuals, nurturing their spiritual growth. No one grows without effort.
Absolutely.
So don't think what we are saying about, what we're talking about here is easy. It's just going to happen.
No,
it
takes a lot of effort
to show
on your part.
Yes, to show that you sincerely love your spouse, you need to order your behavior in such a way that will enhance your growth and his or her growth spiritually, and in point of fact, sacrifice and discipline. And in point of fact, emotionally. No, I've talked about spiritually, physically, emotionally. You know, you have to order your behavior. Do such things that will enhance this growth. So don't just sit down and say, okay, I love her. I love her. You have to do something with what your behavior. It is your behavior that will show. If you buy a beautiful car for your wife, for example, and you give her the key, and that night you shout at her, you bring her down. You see, this is why I didn't want to bring this car home for you. You are just useless. You have defeated that good action
that you've taken.
And somebody whose husband never bought a car for her might have more peace than that your wife that you buy a car for, and you keep bringing her down, pouring negative words on her head. So you need to order your behavior such that it will enhance this growth we are talking about. That is love. You may not be able to achieve much in helping to develop and nurture your spouse into spiritual growth if you are not developed to a level yourself. So love that I'm talking about here has to do with you and your spouse developing each other, starting from yourself to your spouse. So don't think that, oh, now I've understood love, now I can help to develop my wife. I have developed. Nobody ever develops fully until you get into grave.
Yes, we keep growing every day.
So don't think I don't need any developing now. So it's my wife or it's my husband. I need to concentrate on her that his bad behavior or her that her bad behavior. I need to concentrate on that so that I can help her.
We need to help each other. We need to support each other.
Yes.
Very good. And I'll just take a cue from something that you said there, that if you love, if you buy something, say like the example you used, what if you buy a car for your wife and she's not really showing the reaction that you expect, then you begin to get upset. Here is something. If you really have studied each other so well and you love each other so well, when you want to go out to help somebody, you want to do something that you know they will like, not something you will like. Val always says something. Val says that when you go shopping for the person you love, you literally actually go shopping for yourself.
Sometimes.
How so? Yeah, sometimes. Most times. How so? You are buying what you would like to see them wear. Let's use clothes, for example. You think in your mind, oh, this will look good on my husband. So you buy it because you think it will look good. Part of what you should be thinking is, oh, will my husband like this? Or will my wife like this? So if you're thinking,
am I buying it because
I like to see it on her or on him? So if your thought pattern begins to not just shift, but merge with his or her thought pattern, then you're achieving a positive reaction. So if he's buying a car for his wife, I'll go back to example. If he buys his wife a car, if he goes ahead and buys her a Jeep and she doesn't like big cars, and then he feels she's ungrateful, he doesn't know her yet. That simply means he doesn't know her. So that's a totally different topic, how to know your spouse, right?
Yes.
So, but what we're saying in essence is once you've gotten to that stage, you will have worked well together that what you're doing is for the other person, not just for yourself.
Yeah.
So
I love this that I'm reading from Joanna Mukake. If both are genuine Christians, love flows without
envy. Absolutely.
Now, how many Christians are really Christians? My what hurts me badly mostly is the fact that divorce is more prevalent
in Christendom.
It's
very sad.
So let me say
very sad.
Love is in developing oneself in discipline, integrity, and the grace of God. If you are Christians, you need to show that you are Christians not by saying it or by hallelujah, but by your conduct, by your behavior. The first set of Christians that were identified in Antioch, they were identified by their behavior, not because they went out to say, oh, we are Christians, or because they were singing hallelujah. It was the action. The way they conduct themselves in the shops, in the markets, when they talk to people on the street, that is how people identify them as, oh, these ones, they are Christ-like. So you need to develop yourself in discipline, in integrity, and in the grace of God. And it is important for someone who truly loves to avoid acting on emotion and the feeling of love. This is possible. Stop acting on emotions. if you really love your wife, if you really love your husband, let me tell you, you will see a beautiful girl passing by, nice curves, nice shape, and you just, you love what you see, and you go, wow.
Those are your emotions
Those
raging.
Your emotion. You have to be able to contain yourself. Let that time pass. We're all human beings. Nobody will see one beautiful thing and not react to it. But let that reaction. That's why I keep talking about discipline. Be disciplined. Have integrity. Yeah, you say, I like this, I like this. Let it end there. Begin to look at that thing you see on that lady. Begin to look at it on your wife. Let me tell you, even if you think your wife is ugly, you did not marry her because of ugliness. There was something that made you to decide this is the one I'm going to marry. So if the shape has changed, for example, remember how it was
when you met her.
And if you have that discipline, that integrity, you will always remember how you married her. And you see, these days people talk about, my wife needs to go to the gym, my husband needs to go to the gym, and so on and so forth. You're not thinking of that. You're not thinking about that person. You are thinking for yourself. If a woman is to go to the gym, woman will know. Don't begin to harm her. Don't begin to hound her. Don't begin to go, look at you. Your mates are this. Your mates are drinking that. And you are wearing.
And there are ways you can say it. I mean, if you we're talking about helping the other person to grow and be better. If you feel the need to help them to look better, not just because you want them to look better, but even for themselves as well, for their self-confidence and for their health, then you can do it with them. If you want to ask them to go, if you were saying to them to go for a walk with them. You want them to go swimming with them, encourage them, be a part of it, do it together, so that they feel confident enough that you're not putting them down and just saying, look, you're beginning to have a big tummy. Do you think she doesn't know she has a big tummy? She knows she has a big tummy. Do you think she's not thinking about it? She's thinking about it, and you don't try and pretend that it's not there. And say, no, don't worry about it. That's not reality.
So
you just help them so that they feel comfortable enough to be helped by you. We're looking at our time and we'll be conscious of it, and we're going to be wrapping things up.
And I'm just going to tell you the same way I said you should control your emotions when you see a man or a woman that is beautiful or handsome. The same way you can control your anger. The same way you can control everything that is emotional. When you are angry and you remember that you are angry with somebody you really love, you can be calm. You can be calm. It doesn't mean that you're not angry. You can be calm and discuss it in a calm manner. And remember the other time when I said that you should allow space for discussion. Let somebody be able to tell you the truth. If your husband can come back home and say, you see that beautiful lady? You see, I saw one beautiful lady today, the shape and everything. Oh my God. I was just like, and your wife can laugh and say, yeah, look at you.
Stop giving an example.
No, I'm joking. Yeah, because we are human beings. We're human beings, and you can also have space in you to take it when your wife says, oh, look at that. Oh, good Lord, look at that guy. Look at it. Look, but I know men will just go like, wait. Sorry, excuse my language. So look at, she's doing something, she's thinking something. Look, we think, but we cannot express sometimes. And so we go to do the things that we think about that we cannot express. We go to think to do them secretly. And when they come out in the open, we deny them. So there are so many things that will cause somebody to do something. But if you are able to, just open up to each other, leave room for each other to be able to have proper communication, then, you see, love will take its place. We're going to round up just now because our time is fast spent.
Yes. So just to try and sum up what we've been talking about today, I'm sure that you still have a lot to say and a lot to add. So if you're going to be watching this later, please still go ahead on the thread and make your comments and share with friends and let them make comments. So in order for you to know that you have love, you need to first know love. If you don't, you can't give what you don't have. You need to know love. And what is love? Love is not just a fluffy feeling. Love is action. It is action. It is you being patient. It is you being kind to your spouse or your partner. It is you not being envious, not boastful, not putting them down. It is you showing commitment to them as well.
And if you master how you react to your emotions, I'm reading the last line I'm going to read for you in our book that is coming out. If you master how you react to emotions and practice love in its true sense, you will surely be free from bringing unnecessary hassles into your marriage. There will not be unfaithfulness, abuse, emotional torture, overbearing attitude, disrespect, and a host of other issues that constitute marital crisis in marriage. You can start by committing to nurturing.
Absolutely fantastic read there. He's literally giving you half the book. Okay, not half the book, but good snippets of the book. We'll still be talking more about the book as time goes on.
Yeah.
So as we're wrapping up, we're saying to you that today we've talked about love. You need to know love. You need to be able to react appropriately to whatever comes.
Love is
not it's not just that fluffy feeling. The feeling comes genuinely. The feeling comes after you've shown the action. So if you have love, then you will know you have to show it. You have to be able to display it. It's not enough to just have it. You can have something and not use it, then it's no good. If you know how to show those actions, you need to begin to show them. You need to begin to show your husband that you love them through your action. Stop putting down, stop casting down. Begin to raise, begin to encourage, begin to lift up, begin to nurture. Lift your wife up. Women need to be lifted up. Can I say this to men? If your wife is happy with you, your life is perfect.
Happy wife,
happy life. Your life is perfect. So you want to help your wife to be the better person or the best she can be. She will love you for life. And when she loves you, she would really do anything for you. Give love. When you have it, when you know it, give love. And take risks. I pulled this from a question that was asked by a sister. Is there true love if you've been beating before? Are you going to allow it again? If you don't take risks, you never get what is around the corner that is meant for you. Everything is a risk. We're sitting here today. That's a risk. Don't ask me what kind of risk, but it is a risk. Every action we take is a risk. You take a job, you're working a job that you know nothing about. You're starting with faith, it's a risk. You get married, you don't know, there's uncertainty, it is a risk. Everything is a risk. So love is not just that fluffy feeling. It is action. Take action today.
Begin to nurture. God bless you.
Begin to nurture.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave you with an assignment like we do every week. What's your assignment today? Ask yourself, have I truly been showing love to my spouse? For a moment, forget about how they've been reacting to you. Now, you begin to do the work. You do something. Imagine if you are both committed to making each other happy.
Yeah.
Imagine what results you would get. So if he or she is not leading, you take the lead. This is your assignment. Begin to take action. Action. Right. Tell them how great they are. Find the positive. Highlight the positive. Let the weak rest for a wee bit and dwell on the positive. Let them feel good about themselves. Help them be better. And see what that gets you. See where that gets you. And see what results you get with that. I thought you were going to say something.
Bye-bye.
See you again next week. Share this video. The Lord bless you. The Lord keep you. We love you plenty. We pray that your marriage will be better, that it gets stronger, and your relationship will grow and it will build. God bless you. See you next week. Bye. I thought you were going to say something there.